December 19th, 2019, and Larry's with us. He's very ill because he has not gotten in the money he needs. So if anybody can do anything to help, I'm going to put his PayPal account up across the screen. Do whatever you can if you can, and it's urgent. He had to use the money that came in yesterday. Thanks for people who helped to fund what needs to be done. Anyhow, go ahead, Larry, with all the nonsense.
As most of you by now know, Pelosi, Nadler, and Schiff have pulled another trick, and they are announcing that they're not going to turn the case over or turn the articles of impeachment over to the Senate. And this puts President Trump in a bind, and they know it. Because remember, this is all about feeding their base. Feeding their base. And what they're claiming is that they're not going to get fair treatment in the Senate because all the Republicans in the Senate are covering for President Trump, so that it's all fixed. Now it's kind of weird that they are claiming that they're not going to turn it over to the Senate until they can be assured that they're going to get, quote unquote, fair treatment. But they're not going to get, they didn't get fair treatment in the House. So why on earth do they believe that they have a right to demand fair treatment from the Senate? But by not turning it over to the Senate, they're going to be able to claim that President Trump was impeached. Indeed, he was guilty, and they're leaving it at that. They'll be preparing another impeachment plan coming very soon, right after the first of the year, as I understand it. And they're going to do it all over again. Right now, we're pushing for what the Senate, what Mitch McConnell should do. I hope we're pushing for it, is to go ahead and announce that the House has gone through with the impeachment phase, but announce that since they are not turning it over to the Senate, they're going to rule the impeachment null and void. And this is what's planned at this point. But guys, this is more proof of what I've been trying to say to you. It's all or nothing now. Don't you see that? They're doing everything they can to just totally trash the Constitution. They're trashing it by the way they're handling, the way they handled the impeachment in the first place, the inquiry and such. Not to mention the fact that now that they've done it by withholding in a timely manner, turning their outcome over to the Senate. There is a requirement constitutionally that the House, in a timely manner, turn over the case to the Senate for the trial. So at this point, they're the ones breaking the law. They're the ones obstructing justice. You see, justice, even in the unfair way it has been brought to bear on President Trump, justice is that The House handles the inquiry. They determine whether to impeach, then they impeach, and then in a timely manner they turn it over to the Senate to be adjudicated. But they're not turning it over. So they are obstructing Congress. They are. They are violating the Constitution. They are. But it doesn't matter to them. They don't care. They are bottom line matching their half of the country up against our half of the country. They believe that by doing what they have done to President Trump and us, that they have motivated or are motivating their half of this country to come out and vote in droves. And they intend to keep doing it. And the gamble is, will our half of the country meet the challenge? Will we come out and vote?
I hear a lot of people talking about how this is going to backfire on them and Democrats are walking away and so on. But
Look,
I see an awful lot of conservatives saying don't vote because this is dirty politics and we shouldn't be involved.
Look, to all the people that are saying that this is going to backfire on the Democrats, they're not listening to this program. They're not. How can it backfire on the Democrats when the Democrats are counting on their base? Their base. Remember, there's not middle of the road, independents, undecided. There's not that out there anymore. There's not. So how on earth can anything that can be done right now hurt the Democrats with their base? As long as they are portraying Trump to be this criminal, this scum of the earth that should not be in office, claiming that they know he's committed crimes, and then claiming they have proven he has committed crimes, the mean old Republicans just won't treat it fairly. They're going to rig it for the president. As long as they're saying that to their base, you see, don't you? Their base is not going to walk away from them. They're just going to get madder. Now, yes, our base is mad at them. Yes, our base is furious with them. Sure. That don't matter. That's not the votes they're counting on, guys. That's not the votes they care about. They want to make sure that they can get every soft base liberal, hard base liberal, progressive, communist, socialist. They want to make sure every one of those people show up November 3rd, 2020 and vote to throw Trump out. That's what they want. And anything they can do to further paint President Trump as this villain, destroyer of our nation, everything they can do to paint that picture works in their favor. Don't believe the junk that you hear when you hear, well, it's backfiring on them. It can't backfire on them, and they know it. Their base is never going to like President Trump. Their base is never going to like and vote for President Trump. They're not. The only thing their base can do that would hurt or help President Trump, the only thing their base can do that would help President Trump is not vote. And so they're playing to one of the power principles in getting somebody motivated to vote. One thing's anger, one thing's fear, another is your pocketbook. Well, they're going with fear and anger.
Oh, and pocketbook because of all their sweeteners.
And then they've got the sweeteners. This is truly a dark, dark time for our nation. And it's a time when all Americans, people that truly love this country for what it has been, what it was supposed to be, what we want it to be, what we need it to be for our children and grandchildren, all Americans, we need to stand up and exercise beyond belief their right to vote. There was a poll out this morning we got, and everybody was somewhat shocked, and I'm talking about people in and around the administration and all those people. Guess what? The poll came out. 48% for Trump, 48% against Trump. Now, where have you heard those numbers before, Mary Ellen?
All the way through, that's evenly split. It's just ridiculous.
Sounds a lot like 50-50, doesn't it?
Yep. You're 50-50, exactly what you've been preaching for this election.
Didn't need a poll to prove it to me.
No, of course not. But I hope that at least proved it to Trump's election team, who keeps saying, no, we're 40-40-20. No, we just need to convince a few more people. No. You keep
well,
50.
These are days of first for a lot of people. A lot of people are seeing things for the first time in their life. A lot of things are happening for the first time in all of our lives. This is a day for us to fight. Save your country. For if you don't, look, y'all, I'm working myself until I'm killing myself. And I'm not doing that for the hell of it. I'm not doing it for the fun. I'm doing it because this is the only country my children and grandchildren are ever going to have. This is it. And to let it be ruined now by us, our generation, is unacceptable. Unacceptable to me. As I hope it is to all of you. And I mean that. I know just about everybody on this call now love this country as much as Mary Ellen and I. I know you do. But I don't believe we gain anything by patting each other on the back and telling each other lies about where we stand. If we don't know the truth, we'll get hurt, I promise you. You must know the truth. And the truth I'm bringing, while it may seem like it's bad, well, it sounds bad because it is bad. We are in a bad way. But with that, I tell you, we can win. We can win. And we can put the evil down. Put it down for a long time to come. But it's going to require us doing it. You and me, all of you and me. Yeah. Now I need help today if you can. is for me, and I hate to ask, but I don't have much choice right now. There's much work I must do.
Folks, Larry's at the point where Larry's been spent the last 30 years waiting for this moment, and he needs our help to finish getting us over the top here. Oh, Pastor Roach, congratulations. He said, I have successfully turned 5 lifelong Democrats to the Trump train today.
Oh my God. Thank you, Pastor Rowe. There. Miracles can happen if you believe and have faith. I'm proud of you, Pastor. Speaking of Pastor, I'm supposed to be on with Pastor Ernie Sanders tonight. If I can just hold up and be there. See, that's the kind of news we should hear every once in a while. And Pastor, thank you for not necessarily heeding my advice. My advice would have been to the pastor, as you all know, if they were dyed-in-the-wool anti-Trumpsters, walk away from them. But he hung in.
Yeah. Gloria says she's helped so many walk away, she's lost count. Yay! That's the kind of work we need our team doing. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, guys, it's our time. This is a defining moment. And as I've told y'all before, defining moments in our history have come so very seldom. In the world, comes very seldom.
Can I ask?
But I'm honored that we're allowed to be here at this time and be in this battle for this defining moment. I would rather be here than have it happen 10 years before now or 10 years after now where we wouldn't have had any say. I want to have a say in the outcome of our country. I want to be up front, put my foot right up front for this country. I don't want to sit back and let somebody else do it. Help me. Help me help us. I can do things that y'all have no idea of. I really can. I'm not bragging. I'm not boasting. I'm not. But it's a time of telling the truth. Mm-hmm. And the truth is I can do things. I can do things that most people cannot. Doesn't mean anything special. It just means in the area that I know, in the world that I know, I can make a difference. With your help, we can make a difference. Anybody got any questions before I have to go?
Yeah, we've got a few. One was why isn't the GOP doing more? Because this is a coup. Now, in the House, they didn't have enough votes to stop the impeachment, and in the Senate, they don't have the articles to do anything with. So, but when it's a coup, why aren't they talking about that?
Well, if you listen, some of them do refer to it as a coup. Gates, I've heard Gates do it. I've heard Jordan do it. I've heard Matters do it. I've heard Nunes do it. Heard him last night referring to it. I've heard him refer to it as a coup. But I think they're guarded. I think they're guarded in using that term. I don't think, to be honest, when they say a coup, I think it scares them because they don't understand the difference between a soft coup and a hard coup, a regular coup and a soft coup. They don't understand the difference. So when you start passing out the word coup on the air, a lot of people start going, yeah, you're crazy because I don't see the military. I don't see the tanks surrounding the Capitol.
Right. We've got somebody here saying, where is the military?
Military's where it's got to be, on the sidelines.
Yep.
There's nothing the military can do.
All right, here are a couple others. Can't the Senate vote to overturn the impeachment or to just throw it out without having the papers brought to them?
Well, the answer is no, they can't vote to throw it out. But the research is being done right now. As a matter of fact, that's where I have been most of the day. And when I get off, that's where I will be again, researching the law as to whether there can be a parliamentarian rule from the Senate based off of the fact that the House has voted for the rules of articles of impeachment, but the key word, they have not turned it over to the Senate for the trial in a timely manner. We are trying to extrapolate what a timely manner means, and if we can make it so that they have violated a timely manner, then the Senate can, at that point, summarily, in abstention. Now, these are the terms I've given it. I don't know if it's going to be the legal terms that are used in the final word, but they are going to summarily dismiss the House impeachment in abstention, meaning they're dismissing it. They didn't show up. Even though they didn't show up, they're still going to dismiss it because they failed to comply with the Constitution and turn it over to the Senate in a timely manner. I will know more about that tomorrow.
Okay, we have a question. Is it a trap? When the Senate trial ends, will they contest that the GOP had already voted for Trump and go to the Supreme Court to try to rule against him?
They cannot go to the Supreme Court after a Senate trial. There is no remedy beyond the Senate for impeachment. So what the Senate rules cannot be challenged in the Supreme Court. Now, they may be able to challenge if it is summarily dismissed in abstention for failing to meet the timely manner requirement. That might be argued in the Supreme Court. I do not know. But now remember, Pelosi and the Democrats are claiming, well, we just heard Lindsey Graham, we just heard Mitch McConnell saying that they were going to dispose of this, that they were going to do this, they were going to do that, that obviously they were for Trump, they were against the impeachment, that it didn't have any basis of fact. They've been saying that, yes, they have. And so Pelosi and them are saying, so you see, there cannot be a fair Senate trial because they are, quote unquote, so biased already.
As if she was.
They seem to disregard the fact that prior to the House, even the Hogan impeachment inquiries, every one of them since before the man took office, claiming they were going to impeach the president. That doesn't matter. Not to the Democrats, because, guys, you got to remember the Democrats are playing to their crowd. That's all they're playing to. And their crowd, all they're hearing is what the Democrats are saying, and that becomes the truth to them. It's very disheartening. That's why I am so glad for the pastor converting and Gloria converting people. That's a major thing. But remember, if all these people do is watch CNN or MSNBC or one of the other major networks, if that's all in the world they get information from, you've got to understand they believe Trump to be guilty of all these things.
Yeah. Can
Let me give you an example. If today Hitler was massacring Jews by the millions today, by the millions, and he controlled MSNBC and CNN and the other major media outlets, mainstream, if he controlled all of that, half of the people in this country would not believe if you showed them pictures of Jews stacked up in piles. They would not believe Hitler was doing it. They wouldn't. And to prove that that can happen, go back and look at the history books with Hitler. He was killing millions of Jews. And people knew it. People knew it. But he had control of all the media. Look, all the Germans in Germany, all the people in Germany, they weren't for slaughtering Jews. They weren't animals like Hitler and Goebbels and those guys. They weren't animals. But they didn't know. They didn't know. Some did, but a lot didn't, because the people that lived out in the woods in Germany, they didn't see it. All they had for information was what Hitler put out over the radio through Goebbels. Exactly what's happening today. Exactly. We are revisiting history today.
Mm-hmm.
We are proving Einstein's time and relativity. We are. And we're proving the other part of it. You know, Einstein said, when asked by Miss Roosevelt to create a time machine, he said he could, but he can't. He went off 6 months, came back to them, and they were ready to hear that he had built this travel back in time or forward in time machine, mostly back in time. And they met with him, expecting him to lay out this machine, or at least the drawings of how it would be done. And the answer they got from Einstein was, I could, but I can't. When they didn't understand that, they said, what do you mean? He said, well, maybe I could invent something that could take us back in time so you could view historical events as they happened for real. But I can't, because if you were there, when we go back and look at it, if you're there, then you've changed the scenario. You were not there when it really happened. So if we go back and do it again and you're there, you've changed the way it was. And when you start changing the way the history's been, you screw up the present. But that's when he also told, at that same study, he told of the ball on the string, spinning the ball at the end of the string with his wrist. Spins at one speed. Then he cut the string in half, put the ball on it at the shorter string, spun it with the same motion of his wrist, except now the ball's going much, much faster. And that's when he said, the closer you get to the event, the faster time compresses. And we are in time compression now. Layman's language for time compression is things are speeding up. It takes less time now for things to happen compared to before. Look how fast things are changing. Look how fast things are happening. That means time is compressing. And whenever you see time compress, you know you're getting close to the event. What we don't know is what is the event. What else you got?
Can the Senate sanction the House, but they're separate powers, so no.
Nope.
Do you know about Dingle tweeting that Trump should go to hell?
Do not. I know apparently in Michigan, he made some comment about Dingle, and his wife is now a member of Congress, And everybody's all upset with him for making such a comment. I don't know what the comment was. I don't know what he said. But it doesn't mean much of anything. What else?
And I'll answer and then we'll turn it over to you. Can Pelosi and Adam Schiff be impeached? The only thing that can happen to anybody in Congress is censorship by the ethics committee, or they can be recalled by their home people. Can't be impeached.
By their district.
Right. Constituents at home. Yep. And you already said the Supreme Court cannot get involved. Somebody's suggesting we should storm their homes, and how can we retaliate?
How do we retaliate? Well, one way to retaliate is help me. Yeah, help me. Let me ask you, which would cost more money? Sending something to us to help us win this battle and fight it, or to get people to go to the homes of these congressmen and bug them? Which would be more expensive? I mean, it would cost hundreds of dollars just to get to a place in Washington, to stand outside the home of some Pelosi or whatever. And by the way, it wouldn't do any good.
Even if all you had to do was pay $5 like I have to, I'd rather send $5 to you than waste it on gas. They'll do something that won't make any difference because they live in walled. You wouldn't believe the gates and the fences they have around their properties.
That's right. And we go gathering around their homes, and we are going to be made out to be terrorists, terrorizing them. Mm-hmm. Now, they can do it to us, but now when we do it back, look out. You'll be arrested, and they'll pick 2 or 3 and arrest them and call them domestic terrorists, and you won't have anybody else show up at another house.
Yeah. Somebody said that Adam Schiff says he has reason to suspect that Pence has committed treason, and so he's going to be impeached too.
Now say that again.
Adam Schiff says that that Pence has committed treason. Well, Pence was on the call, wasn't he, to Ukraine?
No, he was not on the call to Ukraine, but he did go to Ukraine to the infamous meeting when he and Giuliani talked to the president of the Ukraine, and that's what I've been telling y'all. He is involved as well, so if they get Trump out, so goes Pence, because he was a part of it. And that would leave Pelosi. But don't worry, they're not doing that now. They are just going to keep this up and keep something stirred up about Trump from this day till November 3rd, 2020, election day.
Yeah.
That's all they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. But it's going to be very, very successful if you understand, if you can understand, if you can tell me you understand. All they're doing this for is their base. They're not doing it to win independence. They're not doing it to get Trump people to cross over to their side. They're not doing that at all. This is a game of numbers. Whichever side, Republican or Democrat, Trump or Democrat, whichever side gets the most people from their base, both hard and soft base, out to vote will rule America the day after the 3rd of November, 2020.
Well, not till January, right?
Well, technically not till January, but we'll know the day after.
Yep. Are they following the Clinton doctrine?
No. No, they're not. That's what's made this a little bit hard. They have taken a whole movement beyond the Clinton doctrine. They used the 86 plan to get to here, but the things they're doing now, they're just things that are way outside of any book.
Can you explain what censure is?
Censure means you can stay in office, although now let me clarify something. I don't believe we have not found yet any law, any statute to have a president being censored. All right. So technically they can't do it because it doesn't exist. But now that hasn't stopped them yet. But censor means you're still in office, but you cannot vote. So he could be, if it were such a thing, it would be like he would be president. Yes, he's still president, but he could not sign off on any legislation. He couldn't introduce any legislation. He would simply be a figurehead president, and I guess he could go to parties.
Does that mean that he can't veto this terrible omnibus bill?
That means he can't veto anything if he is censored.
Wow.
And look, guys, I know the omnibus bill is bad in places. I know it. But once again, I try to tell y'all, you've got to pick your battles. There are going to be things in it that are bad. I know it. I hate it. But it's there. What else?
That's all the questions we've got, Larry, and it's been almost 40 minutes. I'm really worried about.
Nothing has come in that I see, so.
Now, there are people saying we need to rally in public spaces and all that. Look, it takes money to go somewhere, okay? Please send some money to Larry. Cindy sent $5. Claire said she's sending something. Thank you, Claire. I haven't seen anybody else. Guys, yes, Congress is trying to neuter the executive branch, but every branch is separate. Every branch is separate. And I mean, when we see what Pelosi's trying to do, acting like a queen herself, going abroad and saying I'm equal to the president. Well, the House is a separate branch of government, that the House and Senate together, but it's balances, checks and balances. That's why we have three branches of government.
That's why we had three branches. But by Pelosi doing what she's doing, telling the Senate they'll not send the articles over until they agree to do the trial in a way that Pelosi and them consider to be fair, that is tantamount, folks, to Pelosi telling the Senate how they must do their trial.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to do that. The Senate governs itself. The House governs itself. You didn't see members of the Senate telling Pelosi that if they didn't do their investigation and their hearings a certain way, that they would not receive it in the Senate, did you? You didn't, because even if they wanted to, they couldn't say that.
Folks,
but you'll notice Pelosi is saying it.
We've got more people saying impeach Nadler, impeach Pelosi. We just told you they cannot be impeached. They can be recalled by their district. They can be censored by the ethics committee. That's all. Don't talk about impeaching anybody in Congress. It doesn't work that way.
And even if you could, you're talking 300 days thereabouts until election. Nothing would happen. So the only thing you can do right now, folks, is vote the scumbags out of office once and for all. Get them out. Get them out. And I'll tell you something else. If enough people vote to reelect President Trump, November 20th. If enough people vote to re-elect President Trump, November 2020, if every one of those sane people, when it comes to their congressional seats, if a Democrat's holding a congressional seat in their district, vote them out, no matter who the other one is that's running against them, they can be voted out. So with that, since nobody much is sending any help, I need to get off. It's not getting any worse than I am.
Yeah. Okay,
All
Larry.
right, gang. See ya.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. All right, folks. You know what to do. Larry does, like he said, Larry does and can do and is doing things that none of us have the ability to do. He is doing so much to make a difference, and he is literally, you can hear it in his voice, he's hurting so badly. He needs our help. And anything, the best help you can give is to help fund what he's doing, fund his projects, keep his meds coming so that he can do what he needs to do so he can breathe. How do we ensure our votes will count? Trump has an election fraud team that is doing everything they can to make the election as fair as possible. And we have to trust that they have some very gifted people on that team to be able to make a difference. I can imagine, because of all Larry knows about that, let's just leave it at that and read between the lines, folks. Please, the info for donating, sure, thanks, is across the screen here. Larry's PayPal account is nicholslive@aol.com. The website is nicholslive.com. And on nicholslive.com is the direct link to the PayPal account. It is Larry's email address, and I cannot type his email address in there because I don't have an ability to do that. And when I'm trying to use my cell phone to type it, it's not coming through, and I don't know why I'm blocked, but I am. So Larry's email address, Larry Nichols, 58, that's 58 Kensington Drive, 58 Kensington Drive, Conway, Conway, Arkansas, which is AR, 72034. And you can send cash in the mail only. If you need to send anything other than cash, you have got to contact me. Text me at 240-499-6729. That's 240-499-6729. And folks, I'm going to say we have a lot of people. Jim Jordan resigns from the Intel Committee. He's actually on the Judiciary Committee, not the Intel Committee. He was put on the Intel Committee to help the Republicans. So he's probably going back, and that's why he's resigning, just so the person who normally is on the Intel, who stepped aside for him. Thanks, Craig, for helping. And thank you, Don. Folks, we've got a lot of people on our team who are ill or have an ill spouse, who are in the hospital, who are going into the hospital, who are in chemo treatment, who are going in for cancer testing, who are in financial difficulty because of things going on with their house. I mean, Satan is fighting so many of us in such a direct way. I was supposed to have been closing on my house tomorrow, and the deal fell through. So, I'm back to square one myself, and I had hoped that closing would mean I'd be able to do a little more to help Larry, and I'm in between a rock and a hard place myself. So, there's a lot going on. We've got people who are homeless. We have people in our team living out of their car. We have people who are living off grid and don't have access to, electricity. We have most of us living on Social Security or disability income, which is not very much. And most of us are older and, we've got issues. We do. So keep one another in prayer. I appreciate it. Um, and again, I will just say, and then I'm done, do whatever you can for Larry. Text me if you need some help. The always backwards here. The description box below has the information about Larry's PayPal, nicholslive at AOL.com, about the website, nicholslive.com, about my cell phone, 240-499-6729. Cash only to Larry or PayPal. And if you need to do any other way, contact me and I'll help you figure something out. So thank you. We had somebody who really was going to help today and they couldn't get through with PayPal. And I saw that a lot of financial institutions were having some difficulty today. And I've heard from several people on our team that are having some financial trouble because of what's happening with the banks. So, and with PayPal. So if yours went through, that is fabulous. I appreciate it very much. This veiled threat is just Adam Schiff talking about things. They are going to throw anything and everything in the way of an accusation against our president. So, and bee stinger, I do not know what that is. Auntie M, text me and let's see if I can help you figure out what's going on. It could be that there's financial institution trouble affecting PayPal too. I do not know what to do. Anyhow, if you go to paypal.com, and if you're signed up on PayPal, then you should just be able to go to send to friends and family. And Larry's email address is nicholslive at AOL.com, which is what he uses for his PayPal account. So that's it for today. And we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time. Thanks a lot. God bless you. Bye. Oh, tonight, if Larry's going to be on What's Right, What's Wrong with Pastor Sanders, I don't know if it'll be possible, but it's What's Right, What's Left. It's wrwl.org. And then you click on 12:20 a.m. When you scroll down, click on 12:20 a.m. and listen live. So I'll put that up in the chat there. So, and it's at 10 Eastern, 9 Central. If Larry's going to be on with him, he's supposed to be on tonight, but as sick as he is, I don't know. Claire, I'm sorry, that's just horrendous. Yeah, that stinks. It really does. Yeah, we've got people on this team that are just dirt poor and destitute, and so's Larry. And I'm sorry. I just appreciate the sacrifices that you have made, and I know Larry does. I mean, even $1, he understands how much that costs and means. So thank you for whatever you do. And I remind him daily that we're a bunch of paupers trying to save our country. Good grief, can you imagine it? All right. Thanks, folks. Bye.